Alright, students, I'm going to keep this as quickly and go through this as quickly as I can. So we're going to practice a little bit of reading today together, and then you're basically going to be taking down the main terms so that we can get going tomorrow in our activities. So number one, let's look at the screen, and it says to open your textbooks to page 40. Take out a sheet of paper for notes. I'll pause for 5 seconds. Alright, I assume you are open to page 40. So we're going to begin here. As you can see at the top of the page, we have the key terms up top. They are weather, the condition of the air and sky from day to day; precipitation, water that falls to the ground as rain, sleet, hail, or snow. Today we had a lot of precipitation. Temperatures, how hot or cold the air is; and climate, the average weather over many years. The climate is the day-to-day weather over a long period of time. Becomes the climate. So let's begin reading. Weather or climate. Every morning, most people check the weather before they get dressed. But in some parts of India, people have very serious reasons for watching the weather, or the conditions of the air and sky from day to day. In parts of India, it rains only during one time of year. No one living there wants the rainy days to end too soon. That rain must fill the wells with enough fresh water to last for the entire year. In India, people are concerned about precipitation, or water that falls to the ground as rain, sleet, hail, or snow. When you get dressed in the morning, you may want to know the temperature, or how hot or cold the air is. Weather is mainly measured by temperature and precipitation. The climate of a place is the average weather over many years. Climate is not the same as weather. Weather is what people see from day to day, and climate is what usually happens from year to year. I'm going to stop us there, and I'm going to move to the next slide. On your piece of paper, please write down these key terms. There's only 4 of them. Have them on your paper, and you do not have to give the definition yet. We will do that tomorrow in class. Take a few seconds to get those terms down. Alright, moving forward. I'm going to skip to the next slide. We've gone through this page. If you haven't been able to find it, the key terms are right there. Always at the top of each section of your textbook. Always key to look for that first. Now we are on to the second page of the reading. Why Climates Vary is the subtitle. Okay, Earth, please follow along with your eyes. Earth has many climates. Some climates are so hot that people rarely need to wear a sweater. In some cold climates, snow stays in the ground most of the year, and there are places on Earth where more than 30 feet of rain falls in a single year. Climate depends on location. Places in the low latitudes or tropics have hot climates because they get direct sunlight. Places in the high latitudes or polar regions have cold climates because their sunlight is indirect. So I'm going to take my highlighter on the slide really quickly, and we've talked about this, but the polar regions are up in the high latitudes away from the equator. Whether you go north or south now, we see that the polar regions are far away from the equator, which is 0, and the tropics exist, as you guys remember, in between 23 north and 23 south latitude. And we have the tropic region in there. Direct sunlight all year round. Okay, continue reading. Third paragraph, page 41. Air and water spread heat around the globe as they move. Without wind and water, places in the tropics would overheat. Oceans gain and lose heat slowly, so they keep temperatures mild near the coasts. Mountains can also affect climates. Alright, students, so let me see if I'm still together here. On page 41, we just read some stuff about what affects climates. We'll talk about these more tomorrow, but I'd like you to answer these questions as best you can using 41. What effect do oceans have on coastal towns and cities? So you're going to write on that same sheet with your terms the answer to that question using page 41, and then use your thoughts here for the second question, number 2, which is, what effect does elevation or mountains have on temperature? I think you'll all be well aware of that. So moving forward, let's turn the page to page 43. We're going to skip 42 and go over that in class. So let's see, we've gotten to page 43, so read along with me starting at the top. At the top we have a map, a thematic map, which is of precipitation in the world. If you look at that map, you'll notice that it tells you a lot about what latitudes have to do with precipitation and what kind of rainfall you get in different parts of the earth. Alright, so we're at the last section of reading, page 43, subtitle in red, Oceans and Climates. Here we go. The oceans help distribute Earth's heat and shape climates. Global wind patterns help create ocean currents, which are like vast rivers in the oceans. Ocean currents move across great distances. Generally, warm water flows away from the equator, while cold water moves toward the equator. Oceans and currents. In the Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf Stream, a warm current, travels northeast from the tropics. The Gulf Stream and the North Atlantic Current carry warm water all the way to Western Europe. That warm water gives Western Europe a milder climate than the other regions at the same latitude. The cold Peru Current moves north from Antarctica along the coast of South America. The city of Antofagasta lies along that coast in Chile. Even though Antofagasta is closer than Miami, Florida to the equator, the average temperature in Antofagasta during the hottest month of summer is just 68 degrees. So that should go back to answering the question of what effect oceans have, especially on coastal towns. Now, the final question that you should have tomorrow for your homework is regarding a very well-known current in the ocean. So, what current travels up the Atlantic? I need to capitalize there. Atlantic Ocean northeast from the tropics. Use page 43 for that. Should be very simple. Just kind of a check to make sure you read with us. Alright guys, I will see you tomorrow. That'll be all your homework. Have that ready to hand in tomorrow. And let me add my final slide, which is, per usual, a shout out to the better team in America. Just kidding. I love all football teams. Okay guys, see you tomorrow.